in this for a little minute. My name's Terrence. I'm more than sure y'all know if y'all been here before, but if you're not, it's the creative community. And today, I like to do something new for me as an experience, which is coming here on YouTube and elaborating on some of the updates, answering some questions, and just creating a space for comments and introductions to what we do here at the creative community. So I want to thank everybody first and foremost, and then I want to introduce our partner, our guest, our administrator. You dig, Tiffany. So yeah, take over as if you would like to, and just introduce yourself.
Okay, hey y'all. I'm Tiffany AKA Soul, your friendly soul librarian at 717 Entrepreneur Library, and I love working here with Terrence in Newport News in the creative community. So I'm learning a lot as we are integrating our life together, our skills, our journeys together. So I'm excited to be here, y'all. And working with the creative community is always fun because I end up having my own side conversations with the individuals, and they're just so amazing. And everything y'all produce is just like on my list every single time. I'm all listening to it, and my kids would be like, "Oh, this is nice." I was like, "Oh, I know this person." They're like, "What?" And so they get excited as well.
Mm.
So thank you for having me. I'm so excited to dive into whatever we have to talk about today. And I have some curiosity in myself about the music industry, although I personally am not in music, but I have a lot of creative. Now I lost the words. Creatives that I work with that are in the music industry. So I'm excited to get to know a little bit more about it.
And I want to affirm a few things that you said as well before, like you said, we get into the questions. It was what you were mentioning about just part of the power that is in the vision of why we created this as a community is that, everybody in here is a powerhouse. Everybody has a story. Everybody got a vision. Everybody got a gift. Everybody got an expertise. So that was what I always was the most passionate about when being in creative spaces was that I could encourage other people to get to know each other's gifts. The second thing that you mentioned as well that I wanted to highlight was, uh, you know, you were mentioning how much you personally have made relationships. And so the other day I have recognized that you shared something from my guy Josh. You dig Mitchell. He does the singing and dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
love
and
him.
that Josh don't be like, he don't be in the creative community, like as far as like enlistment or membership and stuff like that. But like, I've known Josh probably like 6 years now. You know what I mean? Like, we've worked together and he's performed on Newports and News and stuff. And it's like, it's just good to see his growth. Like, you just made me grateful to know him as well. But also to see that he has an impact through just like the reach of things to you, and you all the way in Cali, right? You mean, and so that's beautiful for him as well as you and the creative community. Like, it's just that's the reason why I do that type of vibes. I did.
And it's crazy. I didn't put the two and two together because he was like from Philly. He's like, because everybody from the creative community will DM you or talk to you, not just be
Mhm.
like, oh, distance, thank you for your support. Yes, they'll say that, but they're like, start talking to you. And of course, I exchanged my actual personal number to several people from creative community. And like Ty, me and her, we just like
Mm.
talking. But Josh, I'm sorry, Josh Mitchell would be like killing it. And my kids would be like, dancing and everything. And I'm like, wait, hold on. I didn't put the two and two together. So I'm honored to just know that that was like a little interconnect because not only is he a great performer and good with his music, he is a soul to connect with. Like for real, for real.
Yeah,
I did
he
not know he
evolved.
would have like a full conversation with me in the DMs about like his music and just talking to me a little bit here and there. So wow, that's amazing. I love
Yeah,
it.
like I'll pull up on him because he be doing the street performing, and like you said, he's still personable. Like, you're not
Yeah.
like it. Not he's such a good spirit. So yeah, give thanks and praise. And anybody who, if you've watched this before on my channel, like just anything as far as content wise, or if this is your first time, like drop a comment if you already know somebody, like so I can get more tapped into like the connections that are being made as well, because I enjoy that. Uh, So yeah, and then finally, um, I'd like to ask, what you're working on and like how people can find you and all that before you know what I mean, you get into your questions because I want to make sure that I mean everybody can tap in with you and know the dope things that you do. You feel me?
Well, at the moment, we are in hibernation still. Winter for us is all the way up until like mid March, but we'll start opening up more with our creative consultations at 717th Entrepreneur Library. But at the moment, I've been doing a lot of hosting, trying to get some IRL hosting out in my city and things of those sorts. I had a callback or two, and I'm like, okay, let me make this happen. So, of course, I do digital formatting of hosting and facilitations, but about to make it more personable and out in the
Yeah.
streets. Um, Other than that, I have a podcast coming out with Wind Publications. We're talking about spirituality and creativity. A lot of the things I do with other creative entrepreneurs, we talk on the topics of not only the creativity, but also how to incorporate the flow into our entrepreneurship. And I do like this because I don't want people to get so stuck up on entrepreneurship as much as like we need to learn how to kind of shift into a new pattern where entrepreneurship is just a given. Like I'm making money off of this. Yes. But this is what I do. And of course we have quotes up until like since we were like I'm 1990, since we were babies all the way up to up so now it's like do what you love, make it make it ring with what you love. But no,
Yeah.
for real, let's start making that happen. So definitely anything I'm tapping into, it's not just, hey, we need to get the money up though in the community. But I'm just not it's not always like making an arrangement, let's do this, let's do this. It's more like, okay, how are we shifting into these new patterns? And of course, working with some feminine energy as well as we bring that into business is such a benefit and working with these individuals like Wind Publications, Aurelia.
Yeah, I
So I'm
mean,
excited for that
right.
to come out in April. But that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what else is your other question? I don't introduce
No, that
myself.
was it. Just who
Okay.
you are, what you working on. You lined it up very, very well. I appreciate that. It actually was as my mind started like synapsing started going off. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a good little segue too for like some of the questions that I know you had mentioned that you had. And oh, shouts out Maya and this Joan. I was wondering too. I'm like, who's our guest? That's
I
blessed
got my
us. Yes,
journal
I
out,
appreciate
Maya.
that. Yeah,
Journal
yeah. Give thanks and
ready.
praise. So we wanna shout out LLC. I think that's something we'll do. You know what I mean? And let people know like if you pull up and she also has a podcast called Live. I mean, excuse me, Art Exhibit Podcast. And then she also has a lifestyle brand called Live and Love Boutique. So shouts out to Maya. Um, so yeah. And I mean that's another highlight into just the monetization thing. So um, I'll give you a bit of an introduction because I have a understanding of like what these questions are related to. A lot of people that we serve, and my main expertise as well is in music business. I mean,
Mhm.
initially, my best friend Smooth Waffle, he went to college for audio engineering, but he knew he didn't want to just be, you know, I guess what you would call a traditional sound engineer in the effort of engineering sounds on an arena level or an acoustic level or like, for a local venue. Like that's traditionally the monetization method that people take to, and when I'm saying monetization, because that's the newer term, but that's how people made money. That was how people had a career. That's how people made a living. And that's not what he wanted to do. It's not that he didn't mind doing that as well, but he had a passion and a vision and,
Mhm.
a brand that I had recognized. You're very welcome. And so that was what I was enlisted to do. That's why I joined his movement. We created a product brand. We moved to Philadelphia. It allowed me to start my own media platform. And it brought me here today, 7, 8 years later, where, I've put out a project on several different platforms and have been able to successfully, make some money from it. And even the preemptive part of making a song, I've done a great job and I've accomplished mastering, being able to produce music without an extensive budget or cost. You know what I mean? That leaves me without some bread at the end of all of it being said. And then I can create freely as we will all like to. And then I've also I'll end that by saying I've created strategies where people can monetize what they doing the same way I did, as well as some of the better or the great insight that I've acquired along this journey. So what were some of the questions that you had? I know you wanted to ask about the music business particularly, so that's why I wanted to create this space. We're gonna do this as frequently as we can in order to just give y'all something to be able to engage with and ask questions as far as what we could answer for y'all or come up with topics. So lead us the rest of the way through, and we're gonna get to the serious stuff. You dig?
I love that my job is curiosity. Okay. So, what made you, okay, ever, uh, let me rephrase that. What made you stay away from the industry? Because there's a lot of ins and outs of the industry. I want to pick your brain on why you stayed away from it, or did you kind of put your toes in it and was like, and that's not for me, or did you watch Smooth Waffle go through it and go like, this is not it? Walk us from the beginning.
Yeah, to answer the question straightforward, I'm not deterred to go through the industry. I think I'm more deterred by what is that like the common practice or the traditional practice of it. I'm down for being in the industry to what is a meaningful business opportunity, but like where I began to advocate or just be an activating principle in people owning their music and making a specific. I like to say that I'm a pioneer of creating an entirely new model just because I have a lot of experience and awareness of things before me. So I'll start by saying that wholeheartedly. Like we here to make a whole new model, but the reason, like what you mentioned, is why I don't go the traditional route is because of like you said, you mentioned a couple of the factors, and I'll just elaborate them in a story manner where it's like it was the love that I had for the people around me. So it's like I'm seeing
Mhm.
like I'm just looking at the people around me as people first and thinking about what's going to be. Oh, excuse me. Okay, let me see what I can do for that. And let me see. All right, I turned off my mobile hotspot. Hopefully, it get a little bit better. Um, so yeah, thank you, Maya, for letting us know that. So yeah, it was like my genuine, not interest, but my genuine responsibility for real, like how I carry my responsibilities for those around me. Where I'm like, okay, what's the best way? What's the best way to show how great they are with the things that they love to do? And I started finding that oftentimes it wasn't good the way that it was set up. That wasn't the best way. That wasn't bringing the greatness out of them. So I think that's more like of an introductory to your question. If you have any like specifics that you want to know about it, you know what I mean? But that's just my personal uh, experience of why I didn't go the traditional route is because number one, I've always been intentional about making my own model in the music business. And number two, because I recognize that it wasn't highlighting the greatness in those around me.
Okay. All right, that makes sense with your personality because I was always curious if you were like, let me see what this is about. Let me like douse myself into this. And then you're like, nah, this is not for me. Because when I start, I don't look up things, but things find me. So it, it aligns really well. And I start seeing like how the industry is set up. There's so many tiny parts, there's so many big parts, there's so many accountabilities. It's just like, even with the recent interview, not interview, but the topics on Dochi, the way she went around it was like different and things of those sorts. So what do you think is the reason why there's so many little pieces for this one project? Is it because the investors are just really about the money, or do you think we need all these pieces to really succeed? And if we are to start our journey, where should we start? I know that's a lot of questions, but
No, we
I'm
got
taking
time. Like we
myself
gonna break
in
it
the
down.
visual. Go ahead.
No, I made sure I was prepared and moisturized for this, man. Like I'm here for as much as you would like to
You know my
ask.
brain goes all over the place.
No, man, I appreciate that. I hope I can uh wring the rag dry of all of your curiosities, real rap. So um the first thing I'll start with is, because I'm always a numbers person, but I'm a Gemini, so I'm always there's like this duality, there's this duplicity. So the first thing I'll say is, in 2023, the record business generated over $23 billion, right? And I also couple that with saying, I really do love the music business. I love the way it's structured. I actually love it. It's like one of the
Wow.
top things I'm super passionate about. it's like fire. It's like it can keep you warm or it can burn down a village. It's like it's all about its utilization. So it's like the way it's set up, I'm actually very intrigued with it. I study it all the time. You know, why certain contracts are made available in particular manners. I think a good trending topic that would like lend to what you're mentioning here is Drake, which is, you know, one of the biggest artists in the world, had to release his project with Party Next Door the other day because he can't get the, and like you said, the investment that he's regularly getting for his album releases due to his friction and his dysfunction at his label. So he had to go through one of his friends. You know, publishing things in his name is it's not going to land well for him because of the way that they're not going to advertise, you know, provide touring, promotion, and just media outlets to help people pilot what would normally be the outcome and the results of his album releases. So it'll look bad if it come out on his name, you know, as far as the discography long term. But if you put it out with your man's, not only is it going to help him, but you can just say whatever you want now. You know what I'm saying? You can rap how you want, you can do what you want, and people aren't looking at it long term as like, oh, this was a Drake project. You would have had to been in the times to know, like, man, he just ran all these tracks over Party Next Door's album. So I think that's a little nuance of what you mentioned in as far as like how the structure can be, like it can look complicated,
It
but
is.
like just like anything else, you know, that I'll mention at the to end this point is like just like anything that we're passionate about, you know, it takes time to fully like get to know it deeply. But once you know it, you know it. It's like whether you're a mechanic or you play a card game or you clean things, like to the outside world, it might seem super complicated. I feel like I've gained a very good grasp on how to do taxes now. When I initially learned about taxes, it was like, why are you torturing us? Why are you torturing all of us to do this? But then, like, I did my taxes for the first time this year, and I realized, you know, a lot of it that's intimidating for me was the reading. It's just a lot of reading. But
Yeah.
once you know what the documents say, it's not like they're changing them every year. You know what I'm saying? You pretty much have the bones and the gristle of like what this process is going to be like for the rest of time. So I'm all about systems. I think the organization and the systems in the music business, they work amazingly in the manners that they intend to. Um, you know, as just like I'm a statistics guy, I'm a numbers guy. So I'll mention this to end the point as far as why I started with $23 billion. In like 1940, you know, the highest grossing revenue for record vinyls was about $7 to $14 million. They generated that. That was RCA Records. And then the next biggest thing was when they dropped like CDs, and then they generated about $700 million, right? And they because they were able to distribute more items at a less cost than a record. And then it went from that to, you know, the internet download, interface of it all, like adding visual components, and the music business went from 700 million to 12 billion, you know what I mean, in a process of like 25 years. And then from that point through the streaming era, it is now grossing over $23 billion, right? So it's like the model is working over time. It works. You know what I mean? You know, it works. So I hope that answered it. And if you know what I mean, got any more, I got you. Because I could
I
do
do
that.
got
This
one
is what
more,
I'm
but
passionate about. I could do conversations about the music business for a day. You dig? Like,
thing is, like, this is the benefits. I have to say this, but this is the benefit of working within a community, and especially with a lead who has a passion for this. Because when I was looking into all of this in a, of course, aligned way, I was like, wow, this is a lot to think of. This is a lot to chew down. Where do you want to start? And of course, as a creative, some of us, we get so excited and we're like, we want to start everywhere. So just give us the money. I think that's what gets us caught up. It's like, oh, I want to do everything. Just lay the money down and we'll do it. But to have a lead who can like have the passion for it, hold that energy for you, and then help you break it down. That's why you have the create method. That's why you are here and available to people. It's like you're not only siphoning and holding some energy for us, that excitement can kind of subdue us, and then we can start from where we need to start. So just imagine that I have like several songs. I've been doing some pop-up shows, and I'm an amateur, and I'm like, I want to get started. Other than, of course, coming to you, starting with the consultation things of sorts, what would you suggest? Try not to give us all the gold because we want people to come to you and be like, hey, here, let me pay you. But what do you suggest? Like, where would I start as an artist?
Yeah. So I have these phrases, right? 10% of your organization is going to usually do about 50% of the productivity, right? I look at this like in terms of a business because we're talking about songs. So like every song is an employee, right? So it's like
That
10% of your
part,
organization
hold that up. I'm sorry,
is
that
going
was
to
good.
be no, I mean this that's what I said. This is how my brain think. Like each song is an employee. So it's like 10% of your organization in a business is going to do 50% of the productivity, right? So it's usually like if you have a team of 100 people, it's 10 people probably doing 50% and generating your revenue. That's corporate culture. You're not looking for everybody to be super productive. You find your C-suite executives, you find your regional managers, and you lock in with them and you distribute power through them so that they can empower everybody else. You dig? And you know they're the discerning ones in your organization. So my second phrase is you're gonna make 80% of your bread on 20% of your work, right? So let's say
Hmm.
you make $100, 80% of your money gonna come from 20 people, right? If every person is a dollar, for example. So like I made $100 and each person gave me, in theory, each person gave me a dollar, but that's not usually how it is. You're gonna make $80 off 20 people, and then those other dollars are gonna come from them other $20 are gonna come from them other 80 people.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I always tell people you got to get through the 80% to even get to your 20%. So a lot of people are like, who's my audience? A lot of times they'll be listening to the 80% of people applauding them, but
Mhm.
it's really like distracting them from the 20% of people who really like their stuff. Right. And I'm always a big advocate of like applause can be sometimes as detrimental as criticism because when you get in so much applause, it can kind of like distract you from what you intend to do. What's your effort? Like what's your sole intention with things? So let's recap those numbers because I like throwing around numbers and stuff, right? It's like 50% of your organization's productivity gonna come from 10% of the people, right? So that means the other 90% of the people are gonna make up the other 50% of the productivity. You
Okay.
shouldn't even be mad at that. That's normal. You know what I'm saying? When I went into the creative community, I know if I have 190 people, 160 of them are not going to be locked in. And then 30 of them, depending on what is actually being facilitated, are going to be the people who show up frequently every week. Part-time shifts, full-time shifts, salaries. Like I look at it in that way. There's different people for different strokes in the game. So it's like, then the other one that I mentioned is 80% of your revenue gonna
Mhm.
come from 20% of the people who are viewing your product. So in order to even get to those 20% of the people and really objectively see like, oh, these are the people who are buying the t-shirts, these are the people who are streaming the music the day it come out, these are the people who are signing up for the email letters, right? To even get to those 20% of the people, you're gonna have to get through 80% of people who are flip-flopping and shaky and trying to figure it all out with you and not sure if they there for it. You're not even gonna recognize those 20% of them people till you get through the 80% of the people. You dig? So that's what I would say if like I'm an artist starting out, it's just self-awareness. That's what I call
Yeah.
that, self-awareness. Right?
And
If you're
that was
aware,
all gold. Hold back some. Chill out.
yeah. I didn't pitch my product though. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I did what you said. I ain't pitched my product. You did. I gave
Like,
it to you.
my friend goes, we get all this for free. This is crazy. And I'm
Yeah,
grateful
yeah.
that really for me when I speak to people, I endouse myself and like I'm the creative doing it because I have so many creatives I work with, and usually they are musicians. It started with musicians needing help because they didn't get like blah blah blah. But enough about me. But this is just like eye opening. If I had this in the beginning, because they're like they knew where they started, but they were in the loophole of the industry of them get that bag, and they were flip flopping, not flip flopping, but going to the flip floppers. Like, oh, it's not working.
Yep,
Oh,
you
this
go into
isn't.
the
Oh, the
flip
fact
flop.
they don't like it. I should just stay here. And that's what I wrote down. It's like 80% is the quick fans, the ones who want to stay, keep you in a box. And when they click on you, they're like, Good. You're still doing that dance. Good. 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 That same song.
You're
Yes. That
still riding
one.
on that same beat. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And but the 20% is like, dude, you lost me as a fan because I was hoping you'd do some more and stuff. So I got chills because I'm thinking of all the clients that I didn't know were clients at the beginning when I was talking to them. I was like trying to make them understand. Of course, men speak differently than women because I'm like, what is your problem? Care about the people who are like DM me. No, I need more money. And I'm like, I don't
Mhm.
get it. So
But
with
think about
having
the money
you,
you made already, right? If you sold 5 t-shirts, that might seem insignificant to people. But I'm pretty sure every time you sell 5 t-shirts, it's 4 people buying them all. It's the same for it's your girl, it's your brother from school, it's your mom, and it's her sister. It's them same 20% of the people who buying everything. So you gotta learn how to pour into them. And I guess before I give one last strategy and you get to the next question, I wanna plug my product. Fuck that. um,
do it.
I'm gonna put it in the description. You know what I mean? I just want to let y'all know that because if there's free products, you know what I mean, and it talks about the stuff that I'm mentioning here. So when I post this video, it's gonna have descriptions for the store that we have and all of the information on how to find us. Um, but like one thing I'll add as a final strategy to that, like, is the fact that what you were just mentioning in terms of how we can think of these things. I'm not a musician first, you dig? So like you said, I've always had that privilege
Mhm.
of being able to disconnect. So like when I used to first be an artist, my main thing used to be like to be objectively with my friends and be like, bro, this not a vibe though. This don't make me feel like what I feel like when I just listen to songs that I enjoy. I don't feel like this got anything to do with me. It feel like I'm just like essentially listening to what you want me to listen to. But what about what I want to listen to? You know what I'm saying? So when I go into the studio as an artist, I'm already conscious of that. I'm like, okay, I don't want to sound like the people I'm around who are exceptionally talented. You dig?
Right.
But it's like they're so much um it can almost be obsessed with how people see the things that they like. Let me say that again, right? If you become obsessed with how people look at the things you like, that's why music get depressing. Cuz you want people to like what you like. And that you start getting all psyched out like, "Dang, I thought that was my hardest bar, that was my hardest beat." And they ain't like it like how I liked it, so maybe it's not good. And it's like that's not how it works, bro. It's like you gotta like this. You gotta like giving people the music they want to listen to. You got to give them the soundtracks to their life. You know what I mean? And you can use your experiences and your insights and stuff. But like when I go into the studio, I think about all. I'm giving. This is the gym of me. This is my personal gym. And then I'll let you get to your question. When I go in the studio, I'm rapping for the dirty, broke, starving, scared, insecure, unsure, weirdo version of me, like when I was younger. Like that's who I be rapping for. I be like, I'm a rap for that TJ, so he got his soundtrack, so he don't gotta move around without a sense of knowing himself. Right. So yeah, okay. Your parents went through substance abuse. You had to ride in that car. You had to get your license from the older person. You had to do this. You had to ride through the train. You was scared the first 2 years in Philly. Your girl broke your heart. You was cheating though. So why you complaining? Right. It's like I talk to him and I be like, you know what you was on, you dig? So I think that's what those are the two people you can talk to in your music. Talk to the younger you dig? Sometimes even talk to the older you. Maybe you want to become a mother. Maybe you want to be, you know what I'm saying, an activist, or you want to be like a teacher. You can speak to the older you too, but speak to yourself. Or s- create the soundtracks to other people's lives. Like I got a song that a lot of people enjoy a lot. I don't really care for it so much. You know what I'm saying? I don't care for it so much, but people love hearing me perform it. So shouts out to
Awesome.
Lexi.
Wait,
Yo, so
Lexi's
shouts out to
coming.
Lexi too, because she just had her first listening party yesterday. You know what I
Congrats.
mean? Right. Yeah, yeah. Big Valentine's, big love, big, you dig? What's it? Aquarius season? It's still
And
Aquarius or it's going into Pisces now?
oh, it's gonna be Pisces. My birthday's coming up. Woo, woo. But yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah. On the 20
Aquarius.
something,
It's
right?
still
Yeah,
Aquarius.
yeah. So shouts out to the Aquarius air in the building. But yeah, give thanks and praise. That was
I love you, mama. So sorry. I had to say I love you back. I
mm.
can't ignore him.
So I
But
appreciate that
honestly,
question because it allowed me to like, dive a little deeper. Still
yes,
Aquarius down is crazy. Maya, we got too many Aquariuses in this
I
chat.
love
The
Aquarius.
Aquariuses,
Oh my
we're
god.
getting overran. Getting overran. All
Okay, so
right.
now I'm blowing because now I'm thinking about all my little employees, which are my ideas, and I'm like, how do I rephrase? Like my brain is just like, go. I'm like, mic drop. Where are
You
we?
got your Walmart and you got Walmart level employee. You got Amazon. You got thousands of right. You got to go back now.
And I'm like, which one's are my
Yeah.
executive? Which one's gonna push me forward? Like I needed this more, and I'm just like not okay. We'll get into that later, but just like I'm not a musician. I can't. I gotta stop saying that because I am in some aspects, and you'll see it later. You'd be like liar. Um, but yes, this is eye opening. So number one, you guys, self awareness with all the Terrence Harris nuggets gems that we just had. Add that. Put that on replay. Who are your employees? Like what songs are going to push you forward? And know that they're not going to lead us to the promised land. Like you're saying, like some of these songs have to be for you. Some of them have to be for somebody else, and you can't get stuck in one corner. We see the detriment of that as the artists, as the creative, as the consumers, but of course, the people with the money was like, no, you got to say, this is what they're getting to the 80%, according to Terrence.
Right.
The people with the
Right.
money are
Yeah.
tending to the 80% who wants you to do that same damn dance and that same vibe.
Mhm.
And you as the creative, it's like, why am I still thirsty? Why am
Yeah.
I still thirsty? It's because Terrence says that 20% matters. Did I get those numbers right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I wrote them down. Journaling is very important, y'all.
Indeed.
Okay, that being said, number one, we're doing self awareness and all these great. Anyways, we're not going to go back into that. So after this, I kind of want to guess the second thing I should do as a creative because this is you have convinced me
Yeah,
after
go for it.
watching
I'd
this.
love to hear it.
I will press a consultation with Terrence. Not saying that everybody needs to do this, but find someone who has either him or somebody you resonate with that has the same gems. I don't think you can find it anywhere else. So I'm pressing, I'm paying that money, I'm following you because I need that extra support after being fed that good dinner, that good lunch. Do you believe this is the next step of being also part of a community that nurtures this kind of aspect of your journey, starting your journey? Or do you think you should just have one mentor? And I know you talked about mentors before. So where does the community come in? Is it the next step or is there another step before that?
Yeah, your questions are really good. When I was seeing them a few weeks ago, I was scared, man. Like I was intimidated, but now I feel like I see why you use the questions you use because I really do. I thank you, man. You curated the heck out of those Jones.
No, the
So
questions
this
are
is
just like outlines of my brain. So right now I'm actually reframing them. So we're flowing together. Go
yeah,
ahead.
man. Like you did. So I appreciate this because this is something that I'm currently experiencing as well. Well, let me rephrase that. This is something that I realized because I've been experiencing it for a while now, which you're just mentioning as far as which step first. And I have to thank John, my I call him my boss, but I know like people don't. I know he doesn't always appreciate that, right? Me just calling him my boss, but
Mhm.
the owner of Here's the Cool Stuff, as that's how I'll describe him. The owner that I work with at Here's the Cool Stuff, he showed me this. Shouts out to Sheen. He's also guided me through the process of what you've mentioned here as well, in terms of community, where because I've been so passionate and also pioneering in my efforts of establishing community within, like you said, the viewers or the audiences or the followers that I have in different spaces, whether they be in real life or online. That community element that I've always been forging, I'll metaphorically create a visualization to say, like, if I was the construction worker, literally, I've been building that little hut. I've been building I've been building all of the things that have been necessary, right? And so, hold on real quick.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hey, all right. So look, all of the things that I've been pioneering and facilitating, right? It's like I had to literally be in the trenches building it. So I didn't always have my head up to appreciate or acknowledge what was going on. So I always used to feel disconnected in that way, as far as
Mhm.
like I'm building a community for myself. I'm thinking I'm building a community so that other people have resources that they can access to foster their communities. Sheen was the first person who introduced it to me that uh, TJ, you are a part of the community too. You know what I mean? These resources are supposed to help you have fun. These are supposed to
Oh,
be things that you're willing to commit to. These got to be things that you're willing to, and beyond that, there are things that you're withholding and not sharing about yourself because you keep trying to make all the architecture of the community fit everybody else's needs. And you don't even feel at home in your own community no more. You feel me? So it's like I had to get that, like you said, that's what community's for them to sit you down with love
yeah.
though. He ain't saying it mean to me. He just like
Yeah.
he just kind of tapping the TV like, you dig? Like, yo, are you there? Cause you just on programs. You dig? You just feel like you programmed to build for us, but we care about you. We want to love on you. We want to help you too. And John at the store was the one who was able to help me finally put some tools down and
Mhm.
accept, others embrace, others shelter, others transportation and communion and rations and belief. You know what I mean? Because he has a bunch of powerhouses and enlightened people around him as well. And it feels amazing now to not be the most resourceful person in a room. It used to be very exhausting at times to always have to feel like if I'm not making the event, there ain't gonna be an event that caters to what we would like to see. If I don't, surround this artist, they're not gonna get that first interview or that free venue that they need to show their vision or help, putting a merchandise together and understanding what the operational costs are without them having to be late on their rent as a consequence. Like just the all the things that I would think, you know, at times that I would like myself that I do on to others. Now I finally have someone who's willing to lend me their store and their 18 years of experience and the family that, what I mean, has poured love into him. And, so it's a good thing. Like I think mentorship comes along with real community, right? You're gonna have mentors all around you. You're gonna have, as long as you stay a student, there's gonna always be room for you to learn something. But then there's also those moments where, and I'll end it on this note because I think this is super important, especially for our audience, especially where I know I horizontally where I just align parallel with other people. We're growing still. We're still growing. Shouts out to my new project coming out. That's why I'm making it because it's an affirmation and it's just you know, um, of what we going through, which is the fact that you do have to acknowledge when you walk in a room that you that person though, that you have that gift. And you know what I mean? When you come off them performances or an exceptional moment, you gotta stay there. You can't go back down and be like, all right, I'm used to those low views. I'm used to nobody buying. I'm used to no streams. You gotta
Yeah.
stay up there. You know what I'm saying? And I had to learn that where it's like every time I come off of a high, I'll be ready to get to the next thing because I'll be so concerned of the 80%, as we'll use it in this terminology, that I'm not maintaining their interest. All right, they want to see me do something. They want me to jump through a flying hoop this time. They want me to jump off the scaffold onto a horse. Like I'm trying to do stunts for them. When in reality, it's like there's people around me who would like to see, what I actually am going through, how I'm act. Like PJ, are you sleeping somewhere? You know what I mean? You eating somewhere? You did. You got the money coming in your pocket the way you need to. If not, how can I aid and help you get uncomfortable with your greatness and lend to you like doing what you need to do to be where you need to be. So that's something I witnessed recently is like a lot of us as creatives we'll do unbelievable, unimaginable things that people have never seen in their lives, go home
Mhm.
and be stressed about things that are in our control. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
more importantly, we'll be stressed on things that are out of our control. You dig what I'm saying? Like, so I get it. You put a little stress on maybe what you can control, but like, that's just my personal, motive. Like, I indulge in stress. I know some of us don't, but like the things you can't control, that you gotta let that go. So like, be great, be top tier, You know what I mean? Be exceptional, be gifted. You know that song, be black, be great. You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff, right? But yeah, we gotta stop coming off that divine high that God be gifting us with when we be doing something fly, and then it be like, all right, I'm about to just go back to work on Monday. I'm just this I'm this wage slave. I'm this, I'm that. It be the negative talk and it be crazy work. So I'll leave y'all with that.
Okay, see, these are the brains I needed around me growing up. You answer a question in a room. You don't answer a question and point to a chair.
Right.
I know that doesn't make sense, but for people
No,
who
it
are
made perfect sense. There was a bar
okay,
actually.
your brain,
It was a bar.
that's why you need simple questions. Simple questions, I don't hate them, but they'll either open a huge room for me or actually answered your question. And you did in a way where it's just like, look, yes, we can put a title on what's the next step, but these are the next inner practices, outer practices. And maybe people out there are like, duh, that's why we have blueprints. But me,
It sounds simple, but it ain't easy.
no, but the mindset, bringing it from a human being, I I know I can't even say think because I'm so scared to say think. I know why we're going to have a floodgate of people who are going into these corners of like consultation is because we need to hear from a mind of a beautiful mind, a human being sometimes. And I'm not kicking AI. Y'all know me. I'll be like, hold on, I need help. But coming from you is just like you opened a room. It's like, no, there's not just a chair in here. It's all of these things. And part of those things is how you view it. And you just gave us the answer like, yeah, community is next. But in some ways, but in this mindset. And you not only said like you quickly said it. You said my community, whether it was my audience, my consumers, other creatives, family, friends. I didn't even think about community in that way. Like when I'm walking into my career, I'm thinking about people on my level, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to look at my family who's supporting me and helping me eat. No, I don't want to look at these people. I want to look at people who's getting the bag so I can get the bag, and we get in the bag, and we're holding each other together. But those people's communities are outside of themselves, holding them up. And I'm disregarding the communities around me, saying, I don't need your help. My dad just gave me lifetime warranty on brakes randomly. He was like, nah, and tires too. Hey, this. I'm like,
That's
God.
your gift. It's you being showered and you for your gifts, bro. Like, cause like you said, everybody paying for bricks, but you know, God put your pops in a situation where he could put you in a situation and you gotta ride off that. That's a fact. You gotta
Yes. So
ride off
what you're
that.
saying, community is all of these pillars because when you were mentioning like your community checking on you, are you good and stuff, the 80% is asleep while you're building. The 80% is doing their own thing with their own family while you're building. Nobody's cheering you on as you build something like, yeah, we're here, past it now. Nobody wants to be
Naturally.
around that. Except for
Naturally.
some communities that comes in and be like, hey, bro, like I'll wake up at midnight and be like, hey, you need help with this? I can do my
That's what I
best.
was saying about me as a listener too, though. That's like it's not common for us to do that. I'm not about to put that on you. Like, I don't go outside and dap up the construction workers and be like, yo, thank you, bro, for building the road. It's like, it's his job. Like, so it's like when you make good music, it's like, no, your fans is not gonna be like, you know, the ones that do, be grateful and thankful that God sent them to you to affirm you. But the average person is gonna be like, bro, it's your job to make the songs good. I'm not supposed to listen to your bad music.
That part. Oh my goodness. Oh, we enter rooms here. We're only on step two. I think those two things are going to help a lot of people at this moment, especially if you're starting your journey, guys, or you're like, I've been on this journey. What do you mean? I mean, actually, it's that last step, especially being adults and you talk to Smooth Waffle about starting in your 30s. Yes, I watch your stuff. Starting in your 30s is actually a benefit. And I am about to turn 35, y'all. I don't care about age. I don't care about grades. I really don't. I want to be the wise old croon of the society.
Beautiful with blessings. Blessings with
Especially my
beautiful. You heard
walker.
me. It's all
That's
gonna
my
work.
thing. I have wooden
Mm,
sticks that I carve myself just to be ready. Like I got you, babe. Like I'm preparing.
damn right.
But what I'm trying to say is that you have given us so much in these two. To me, it's two steps. First, let's reiterate self-awareness. That 80%, that 20%, all those nuggets. Rewind it. Sit with it. Once you feel a little bit accomplished of going to step two, which is not always linear, sometimes you have to go back to these things. What does your community look like? Start appreciating our community. if you don't start appreciating it, you'll start realizing and like, oh, is that what's pulling me back? I should have said thank you. Like you helped me. Oh, wait, hold on. And then that kind of intertwines with writing that music, doing those projects for the ages of you. Boy, did we just get therapy?
I like, man, I said that on one of my little drawings one time when I was like in a room. I'm like, this is how my dates be. I be like, I want to look into your soul. Let's talk about fifth grade. I'm trying to talk about when I got my first haircut. I'm trying to, yeah, let's do
Yes,
therapy, right? Yeah,
that's therapy right
that's the
there.
Cancer
Oh,
moon. That's what my friends always say. They be like, "Oh, I see it. You a Gemini in public, but you a Cancer. You a Cancer behind closed doors."
like
Hey
if
yo,
Cancer's in your sun, I can't see a Cancer. But if it's in somewhere else, I'd be like, oh, is that what a Cancer is? They're much more loving, not hating on like bad on Cancers, but
nah, shout
when
out to
your
the
sign
gang.
is in a different Trinity, it comes off differently. I'm an Aries moon, so I look at everything kind of like either passionately or just logically, like, okay, get it, I got it, keep going. Like I'm so with my kids too. I'd be like, okay, yes, we're still crying. Okay. I'm a little
I feel
bit
like you just said, Aries is a good moon sign. Sometimes I think people get off put when you meet an Aries sun, but I never even thought of that before. Where it's like the Aries moon is a vibe. That's a
I
vibe.
was
It's
raised
like
by two
I'm only
Aries.
gonna turn up behind closed doors. Like I'm not gonna like. I'm only gonna turn up in the intimate spaces. That's lit. I like that. That's a vibe.
I
That's a
get real
vibe.
passionate. That's why I stay away from like
That's a vibe.
revolutions and stuff. Because if we ain't gonna do it, if I'm not going down to
You
death,
taking it home? You taking it to the crib?
like
You taking
that's why my
the solution home?
and I'm not even violent. Like my second child's like, are we violent? Are we not? I said, I don't know. Like my
Yeah,
first fight. Let me tell
yeah.
you this story.
I'm
I'm so
crying.
logical with planning out things that when I was younger, the first time was sent to the principal office, this person came. I can't remember if it was a young girl or a young boy, and I was a kid, and I was drawing in the sand. I was a weirdo, so I was drawing in the sand, and they're like, "I don't like how you look," and I was like, "Oh, is it my face?" Because sometimes I do these weird looks, and they're like, "Oh, you being smart." ASS. I'm like, no, not really, but I don't know if the ASS can be like the. And they were like, what if I beat you up now? I said, I probably would take that chair,
Right,
knock it over your head, then I cry
right,
because you're dead, and then I gotta go talk to your mom and bring flowers. Like I narrowed it down, and they like, you're crazy, and ran away and told the principal.
right.
And I was just,
Turned up, right? In
do not put me somewhere where I can't see. That's why I can't advocate right now. So let me sit here
Mhm.
and be like, the color orange is still my favorite color. Leave me alone.
Nah,
And
real rap though.
have me out the White House, please. I'm in Cali. There's a reason why we're hippies here. We're just like, calm down.
Trying to zen it out, right? You trying to get that sunlight, zen that ish out. You heard me. Now, I just said that to somebody on my trip yesterday. I said, that was part of my affirmation of my new project, and my cut was like, oh man, they got me messed up because there's always that other half of the equation. So I definitely resonate with that a
Uh,
lot, man.
the little bit rabbit hole, guys. I know we were talking about something else, but we talking about Aries moon. I'm sorry, I had to let that out because I'm like,
Nah, bro, that's what it's here for, man. Like, if I can't have fun at work, I don't want to come to work no more. I don't
exactly.
want to come to work if I can't have fun at work.
And I really want people to digest those first moments. I don't want y'all to think we're shifting into another question. I need y'all to sit with this stuff. Um, journal. Like my
Nah,
husband
I'm
does
good.
on her thing. Journal. Like, and if you actually want to sit and be walked through how to write these things out, think about these, digest these things, inner practice these things, just get it into the soul of things, please go to a journal. What is it called? Journal again? I want all the words. Go to Maya. Is that right? Am I saying her name right? Maya, right?
Yeah, Maya. Yeah, Maya
Because if
Kiana.
I look at your name too many times, I'll say Maya. I have a inverted.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So I
Nah,
know
nah,
your
it's Maya.
name
You
is
had it
big,
right.
but when I see y'all names on here, I'm like, people are like, yeah, I know you for 10 years. I go like, I know, but your name on here is so excuse me, guys. I do have a learning disability. But yes, anyways, that being said, step one, step two, we got into that. Let me look over the questions because I'm actually excited to write down my employees when we get off this call and just sit down
Yeah.
with all this information. So for those who have a little bit of a neurodivergent brain, that's why my brain is going a little bit I call it three-dimensional. I don't care. It's not all over
I
the
know
place.
that's right.
It's a
Right.
scan. It's like that camera that just moves around the whole object. you kind of get a better photo. That's
Yeah.
how my brain is.
And I wanna ask very politely too, right, to the audience. I see two people, but I only see one like though. So I feel like I just feel like it's just us. You know what I mean? If you're watching the recording, you might as well drop your comment now. How you dig? And you know what I mean? Like, subscribe, do what you gotta do. But I need that second like. You dig me? Let's just throw that in there. It's like, nah, but what's you got any like what's the next question, or are you still bobbing and weaving?
Ooh, I'm trying to make sure I'm walking through. What happens is I'm a conduit when I do these things, so I apologize if it's more of a vibe, and then it's just like do, and I
I
have to
love
start
it.
telling, huh?
No, I love it, man. Air sign life. That's my life. Air sign vibes. I'm upside. I mean, I'm chilling.
And I need to watch
That's why
more
I wanted. I
interviewers.
always I remember all the parts. That's why I make sure that's like a little game to me to remember each of the little nuances in a question. So when a question becomes three questions, I like to. It's like trivia to me to
That's
remember the other two or three. So you good?
I have a art collection that I'm slowly building, and I will not be rushed. It's called playing. It's three man's chess. I forgot what I
Thank you for
call it.
that like too. They gave it. They gave it, Tiff.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, thank
but like it's called I think I call it three-layered chess or something creative. I always start projects and then come back to it later because it's a lifetime kind of thing. And if it only has three pieces, it's only have three pieces. But like that's what your brain is doing. It's like, okay, play that one, play that one, play that one, play that one. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Okay. So we went from self-awareness. So can we start pulling maybe out of the rooms and into what are some when it comes to the music industry? I have my songs. I've done all the inner work and things of the sorts. How do I start building I know this is very like you already said these things, but like what is the next step? I know I keep saying it. What is the next step from that? Because I'm actually trying to bring some applicable things that are just not only internal work, but like computer work, or writing work
you.
or going to the
I
bank
see.
work. I need something that is tangible. So when I get off of this live, that I can be like, okay, so it's these are the steps, but I got to get to that physical step. So whenever these are accomplished, I can start that because Terrence says that's the
Mhm.
best fit. Does that make sense? So let's get to
Yes.
that
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
step.
Yeah. Higher level thinking, man. Higher level. You know what I mean? Higher level. I like what you were saying about just the holistic view of your learning and your perspective. You know, we don't need linear. And if you do need linear, that's why we create courses. You feel me? That's what I'm gonna do with this video. I'm literally gonna turn this into a course. You feel me? Because I can just see all of the parts. So
Sorry.
if people need it linear, we gonna have that for them as well.
Yes.
Um, Something tangible that I think would be an immediate effort to make. And I like to keep things as contemporary as possible, just meaning of the times, relevant to today.
Hmm.
But I also know that I'm on this platform because I know my talent in using social media so frequently over the last 7 years has been creating and utilizing my speaking. Like when I'm speaking, I use my efforts to say things that have the ability to last a long time. Same thing with my music. I practiced it there first. I have no COVID songs, because I just know certain things don't resonate and they're not going to be contemporary. But when you listen to Butterflies by Michael Jackson, it just still hit. You know what I mean? So that's the type of person I am. Is like when I say things on these platforms, I want them to last. So that's what I would think should be your first initiative is learn how to be exceptional on social media platforms. Exceptional. Like be the 1% on these platforms. Like my OG Snapshot Anderson, he be helping me create my content. He just went back to college. His first 3 days of class, all they talk about is social media. And he hit me up and say, bro, this is what you be teaching people. I'm getting my bachelor's. They teaching this at school. And this is entry level stuff. This isn't even like what you teaching. This is like Meta's the parent platform and Facebook and Instagram are the children. It's like they're giving you the little baby stuff still in college. So I'm like, but I understand because of like the structure of how corporations work. It's like we weren't making enough money to make this a predominant career field for y'all yet. Now that the billions are rolling in from the tech companies, it's like, okay, yeah, we can go to the what they call it, the educational department, and say, look, this is what we need people to know. We need people to know this stuff so that we can start, creating a global economy through these telephone devices and start getting this global money. You feel me? But that's always been the play for me. Whereas like I was in the hood where I didn't have no access to capital. And you mentioned that a little bit. So that's why I'm going there, because it's like these social media platforms have destroyed the traditional, not destroyed, but they are eroding, because they'll always be there. I'm a firm believer of they'll always be there, but they are eroding the infrastructure of traditional, means of success. It's just it's slowly decaying. So it's like you got to be mindful of that and say, do I want to be in the past, in the dust, in the rubble of Rome, or do I want to be like in the new Afrofuturistic and visionary, intuitive sense of myself? It's like that's where I want to go, and that's where we going. It's like I'm in that Afrofuturism, intuitive source code. So it's like that's why I have to be that person and say, like, yo, when I hop online, that's how I perceive myself. I'm in the future. I'm like, I'm talking to the person who's not going, the person in the hood who's like, yo, I need to figure out how to get myself educated, because I don't got no public assistance. I don't have the education department no more. I don't got these systems or these programs that want to enlist me to, be the corporate battery vibe. What do we call it? The employee of sorts to
Mm.
the mega machine. So it's like use this to become your own boss, your own CEO, entrepreneur, right? But also at the same time, utilize that to be consistent with your community, checking on your mama, give her a FaceTime, send her a picture. Utilize these tools so that you can enhance your human experience. One of my mentors says artificial intelligence versus natural intelligence is enhanced intelligence, right? So it's like, you gotta go to the next level with this. So that's what I would say is like get real accustomed with this phone. Because if you talk to anybody under the age of 18, they phone is their right hand man. They don't trust a person more than they trust what's in that phone. I know what's in this phone. I know the password to this phone. I know what's in this phone. I don't know what's inside you. That's how the kids look at it. They look at their phones before they look into society, into the faces of their community members, because they like it, the source of what they would like to see inside themselves, that Afrofuturistic intuitive sense of themselves. It don't exist in the world that they see above them. So they look in the phone and they create those worlds, and they look for people who can feed that. You dig? So it's like I think becoming a master with the phone, the social media, but and I'll end it on this note because I think it's been trivialized. I was just talking about this in the crib the other day, where it's like social media is like, oh, it's just social media because of how it was introduced to us, because it was like a tool, a toy, or a form of entertainment. I think
Mm.
all of that changed dramatically when Barack Obama pretty much advocated for his initial win at the presidency on Facebook. He ran the larger budget of his campaign on Meta. That's what kind of created the onset of how social media and TikTok and all of the what they would call journalism around politics has shifted, because the politicians and the government see it as the most viable tool to win a presidency. So how could you look at it as a toy or as a trivial item when entire governments are sanctioning their laws and their entire federal budget towards being able to manage what you see and consume on these platforms? It must be pretty important. You feel me? So I would think like on that level, that's how you should look at it. Like, yes, it did start off as just like ChatGPT. It started off as a tool to assist you with your work. You went to college, you wanted to keep up with some of the people in your class, post some status on your work, but now it's developed into an advertisement platform, a streaming platform, a gaming platform, a communication device. It's a big deal, guys. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? And I know, not even that I'm sorry. I want to show my concern and my empathy, because I come from the generation that we existed before any of this stuff existed. I used to watch Saturday cartoons on the floor with
Oh
my
my God,
cereal,
you're
but
talking
guess
about
but
this.
guess what I do now, Tiff? I still watch Dragon Ball Z Daimia on my Netflix. I'm still that person. It still is a part of you. Still that person. Don't feel like you lost yourself in this new world. You actually are bringing and preserving something that people are gonna find um, I don't want to use the word ancient because it don't give the same cosmetic of the word I want to produce here, but essential, the something greater than themselves that they can look up to, something inspiring, right? Where they'll be like, wow, they what's Yu-Gi-Oh? What's these 90? What's Scooby-Doo? You know what I'm saying? What is Family Matters? Like we preserved that stuff through social media. We showed them that there was imagery that looked a certain way, right? The millennials be right online, like, nah, where's the representation? Right? Because we lived in a world where we understood what role and impact it had on us. So I think we, navigating ourselves as that. I believe that word millennial is so powerful because we shifted a millennia, like
We
we were the analog and now we the digital,
back.
we the bridge. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have the ability to really preserve things that are integral to who we are while also putting on the space helmet of digital media and navigating through the cosmos. And yes, we might sometimes look like the primitive ones, right? We're gonna look like the ones that are moving through this digital uh cosmos that look at these geezers. But we was there though, right? It's like these are the people you talk to before civil rights when they was there. And it's like, how did things look before civil rights? And then they tell you, and you be like, man, get out of here. It wasn't that. Da, 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 da. But we gonna be them people that be like, nah, bro, you had to knock on your friend's door if you wanted to rock. And they're gonna be like, go to their house. Go to somebody's house. I'm meeting them in the metaverse. Why would I go to their house? Like type vibe. So I think it's gonna be something that we could lend our love, our affection, our empathy towards in this space where it's like, I get what you're going through, bro. You know what I'm saying? But don't crash out. You feel me? That's why we be up there with that language. We able to truly understand what they going through while also hold true to who we are. I think showcasing that through the telephone and the other mediums and dope devices that they got now. You feel me? Now, obviously, I'm not going to go into a whole self health thing, but please, 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 this goes back to the 80/20 thing. 20% of that nature that you taking in gonna do 80% of the healing that you need, bro. You need to go tap in with the nature, disconnect. You know what I'm saying? That little bit of nature that you can incorporate will do you more wonders than you will believe. Now, I'm advocating for you to go outside more than you on a computer. Trust me, believe me. But if I can't get you to do that, at least spend some of your time outside. I'm talking about at least spend some of your time saying, let me hydrate. Be intentional about just hydrating. Be intentional about having a long conversation. Be intentional about watching things that serve your frontal cortex as well as your amygdala, and not only serving your dopamine up a fresh plate of trauma and drama. So I will leave y'all with that. Learn your phone, learn your digital landscape. That is what I would think is your immediate step. It's we all have a phone. It's right here. You're already paying the bill. You might as well figure out what the daggone thing does. Because it knows what you're doing. It knows where you're at. It knows what you're spending. It knows what you like to watch. It knows who you like to talk. It knows you. This story is starting to become very remnant of a different paradigm we once came from in America, right? They know you better than you know yourself, right? But I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna leave that there.
The dial-in was so intense that it made me think about like, oh, I literally said thank you, Terrence, for this because some people you probably never knew this about me, but I did write a book when on accident. I just fell
Mm.
and it happened because I wouldn't read back my journals. So I wrote a book within 3 weeks. My first time, 10 chapters based on all my journals because I wouldn't read my journals back to myself. Like I can't see myself.
So
So
I still don't. I know the pain, bro. Oh my goodness.
right, I have dissociation apparently all my life, all 4 types or 6 types, whatever, all the types. But anyways, that being said, in that book, I said something in my head was like, Instagram's a tool. And my mom's like, what do you like? Everybody, I'm like, Instagram's a tool. It's not, it's yes, it's all this fun stuff, but it's a tool. And then I felt like an evil mastermind in the corner of a spiritual realm because I was like, this is a tool. And you just be exceptional on social media. Have the intent to be exceptional on social media. Yes, we're gonna have manipulators. We're gonna have people say my exception is actually mimicry. That's
Right.
why there's
Right.
only a small percentage of the human design that is the mirrors of life. Is because they're supposed to be the tricksters of life. They're supposed to show us how we act, and so if we see more of that in the world, that means we're all acting. Too many of us is acting in some sort of
Too
way. So
many. Yeah.
if this is going over your head, please just fast forward, I'm going to go into like this conduit connection, but it will make sense to those who will get it. But this is, I think these 3 steps are so good to sit on. And if we're doing this weekly, I think my body is purposely making you go, okay, we're stopping here because 3 steps, three, everybody knows the number three, the Trinity. I have 3 kids and I think they're complete blessings and guardians of my soul. So, yes, these, this needs to be on replay for about a month, y'all. I'm dead serious. I'm giving you actionable things. Put this on replay. And Terrence is going to do you something better. He's probably going to cut, chop, and give you the nuggets. Please follow.
Don't cry.
Follow. And that's something you said earlier. And I think we all read it in the book, or we all just tuned into this. Is like, I used to say, I'm just going to throw up on the table and shift through the mess. Sometimes I can't think linear. I just can't. I have to see it all. I'm a like I have to see all the colors. I got to see what the shapes and what they're feeling like. And then thank God for Terrence Harris and me working with him. Maybe y'all will get something that will help you, but pay for it because linear work is hard to do. That is some tasking
Yeah,
editing.
yeah, man, it's taxing. It's usually like the most. Yeah, like that's literally the harder part for me is like narrowing it down because I be wanting, like you said, go super wide. So nah, like you said, definitely beat it. And I like you said, when
Some
you
work.
done with the yo, when you put the puzzle together, I've seen your work. Like you would think that traditionally, like someone traditional would look at your work and be like, they would think you are a linear thinking person because you mad organized. You dig? Nah, so it's like that should be the thing. It's like people be thinking there's only one way to get somewhere, and they'd be like, "Bro, as long as we got on this live, had the topics, and knew what we needed to do. That's why I trusted you, and I'm, um, like you said, just like your children, right? It's like I feel like you're my guardian, you're guarding the gates of like what is allowed to enter the creative community digitally. You feel me? So like I appreciate that as well because your organizational skill helps keep my like you said, my polymathicness to something more consumable, and then you helping me refine and iterate what I'm becoming. So thank you.
Well, I tell my friends to harvest from me. I don't know what I'm doing half the time, but if you guys can harvest from me, that's why my friend Darius, since I was 9, he was like, "We're tried forever," and we're 30, turning 35 this year. And he's like, once he gets in production, he knows he can harvest from me. And be like, what do you need? So that's what I'm here for. That's why I love entering every type of creative community. I've not just worked with one and been through a lot of them. And I'm like Mary Poppins, y'all. Don't ask me to come in every season. I'm just popping in,
Yeah.
making sure y'all good. Of course, Newports and Newts have me for lifers. There's some for lifers out there, but that's my duty is to make sure you guys are good because on the same note of keeping y'all good, I'm also checking up on y'all and keeping y'all
That part.
accountable. And so hopefully you do the same for me because I didn't know I needed protection as well. So thank you for this talk because now I got stuff to work on today. I didn't know how I'm going to spend the rest of my day, and I've been in a kind of a not a creative stunt, but like I had to work through a lot of things. So this will help me because I love working. So I want to actual
Nah,
work.
bro. Like you said, I love my work as well. So I'm happy that I can always inspire that in you. And literally, because I just was out of town recently, I, you know, I was super duper exhausted. I mean, I was at level of exhausted where I didn't even go to sleep till 5 a.m. because I was just still unwinding. I was
Yeah.
just like, when you be exhausted, but you just can't just, your
Yes.
mind is so stimulated. You know what I mean? I've been so stimulated by the trip. So I got a couple hours in today, but I'm looking forward to, like you said, just digesting this and putting this as like a lid on the first quarter of my year. You know what I mean? And like you said, we can digest this experience, fully unpack it, and look forward to continuing to grow. You know what I mean? And not even need to know everything entirely, but let our experiences unfold the manner of this information. Because I think that sometimes is what this generation lacks as far as visible representations or guidance of is sometimes you need the experiences to unfold the value of the information. You know what I mean? So it'd be like you just want to get the information and it just apply, which I understand because I come from that millennial generation where I watch a show and 30 minutes later you've already ran away from house, been found, got you back with your parents, and now you're on going back to school, right? It all happens in 22 minutes, including commercials. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that feeling, that urge you get when you know something works well and you want it to work now because you know it works now. It's not working for other people. Why is it not working for me? I see it on, you start getting internally flustered. But I know my pops is 65. He know how to tell me to go upstairs and sit down, read a book. You ain't bored. Find something to do, right? I'm raised by that generation. You know what I'm saying? So
I
I
don't
know that
play
there's
to
a
my
world.
kids. Every time they say they're bored, I say, "Oh, great." And
Right, right.
we have
Please
creative
tell me you're
moments.
bored. I
Yes,
got things for you to do.
they were in my room the other day, and I was gone, and I was like, "Why are the lights on?" They're like, "How do you know?" And I was like, "Kids are." I see why I thought my parents were very magical and they knew everything. Is because we left all the evidence there. We were not
We
sleeping.
left it there. We thought they were omniscient, right? You think they omniscient or something.
But when I love my kids. Oh my god. So they're like, "Oh, we were in your room," and they're not scared to tell me either. I was shocked that they weren't scared to tell me. They were like, "Oh, we were in your room," nice and respectful because we respect
Respectful.
each other. They were like, "Oh, we were in your room because we was doing craft time." At first, I was mad they were in my room, and I said, "It better be clean." They like, "Yes, it is." And I went up. It was clean. They used the markers. They put it back. I said, because I create spaces, and I told my oldest she has a business already. She's been working on it. We're calling them creative spaces, so we can bring it to our communities. We're literally going to have like an empty facility where each corner you can find something to do because that's what we do at home. We literally do this
Right.
at home. We go in the corner, he's doing art, and he'll stay on his art for hours. My daughter, she's doing her acting skills. She's, doing the blur and like singing and dancing. And then my other one's just, she's a mastermind. Everybody be scared of her. I'm not gonna tell you which one so you don't get rid of her. But she's
Right,
just
right, right.
watching everybody. And now she's decorating. What she actually doing is decorating and clearing off the floor so nobody can fall. And she's
Oh
cleaning. And I'm
wow.
like, yeah. So when those
The
kids are
facilitator.
bored, yeah, they don't want to stay in front of the TV, y'all. Create those spaces. Like you said, you ain't bored, go read a book. Why are my kids bored at school? Because we do all this at home. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're like, oh, fifth grade level reading. Yes, like probably because we read. I don't know. Just stuff like that. So I say all that just to say you are so right. We came from a generation where this is the healthy. We can balance the technology. I'm sorry,
We
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 going
the only
on
ones
so
because you
long,
talk to them older
y'all.
heads, man. They don't know how to get on that computer, bro. It be frightening them. My mom got to put a credit card online. She even, bro,
Oh, don't talk
I mean,
about the other
anything of her
generation.
personal information
No.
she has to put on this phone. It is
Oh,
distraughting for her. Like, I'll
Lord.
be like, "Ma, it ain't gonna hurt you." I said, "They already got your data." I'm like,
We're
"You're
gonna
not
beat
you're
her
not
all day
hiding it, you
ahead.
know." It's like we way past that.
We're gonna be here
Past
all
that.
day. Lord, don't get me started. I'm so blessed for my mom and my dad who have brothers or sisters who were Microsoft nerds. Because
Right.
technology came around, I was just like, "Mommy, how do you do this?" She was like, "Do you read the manual?" That back then they had to read manuals and stuff to understand their technology is so intricate that nobody showed them.
Now we
So,
get the walkthroughs. They got a whole 5-step walkthrough with visuals and clickables. Yeah, that's a fact.
but
Had
no,
to
it,
read that
when you
instruction
talk about
manual.
generational cross lines, I'm a DNA nerd when it comes to the spiritual realm. Y'all better be thankful that I have all these amazing people around me because they're just flushing out the things I really want to do for the world. As I forget that I have so much in here. So thank you again, Terrence. We can be here all day. I keep saying that. I try not to keep you
No, yeah, I was about to say before I let everybody go, feel free to ask any questions.
long.
I know we have two people here, so if y'all can, we at the 113 mark. I'm gonna just hold Soul here till the 115 mark, and if I don't see no questions, then we gonna slide out. So just as like a conclusion, I do want to let y'all know that, like I said before, there will be all the information y'all need in the bottom. If you forgot from when I told you earlier, sometimes I do that a lot. I'll be sitting there watching a YouTube video. I'll be so locked in. I don't like the post. I don't do nothing. I don't comment. I forget to subscribe. So that's also a reminder to do that as well. Um, my name is TJ News on any social media platforms, but I think that goes without any saying. We don't have all the ability to enlist all the information people need. But I do want to let y'all look forward to, like she said, this will be something that y'all will be able to really unpack for a while. I hope that the next time we come up here, that you have more wonderful questions as well. You
Of
dig
course.
that your
Hold on,
curiosity
like 3,
continues to
Terrence. We gotta get to
flourish.
at least 7.
Yeah, yeah. So, is there anything you wanted to leave them with before we slide? It don't look like we got any questions.
Okay, good. Not good, but like, cause we'd be here all day. I promise y'all. Um, I'm actually, I think we're good because I'm excited. I'm gonna keep you accountable to these lives, and maybe they will be only monthly because I want people to digest on everything that what we did here, but also everything you about to put work in and cut them up and slice them. We do want to encourage people to start giving us feedback on this so we can move to the next 3 steps. Because
Right.
this is why we can't be a teacher. We're gonna sit through these steps until everybody start responding to these steps because we're
Real
moving
spec.
as a community. We're not just trying to say this will work and we'll keep going. He already did the work. He knows it works. So what we're doing is basically we didn't even know what we were doing, holding each other's hand, because you guys are helping us. Because we gotta know
Lord
what
knows I need y'all help too. Right. Yeah. We just hold
yeah,
my hand. Stop to
we
me.
want to know what to
Lord
feed
knows.
you. We already know we can feed
Lord
you a lot
knows.
of things, but what do you want? Are you digesting it? Let's
Yeah.
slow down for a moment, y'all. Take this step by step. And if you really love and vibe with this, even in the future, click that button, subscribe, come into the creative
Mm.
community. I am in the Discord here and there. Haven't been there recently. Sorry about that. A lot of emotional trauma, but we'll be back flowing again back in March where I check in on the community on Discord. If that's okay, mentioning parents. Is that okay?
You are doing an exceptional job, girl. I don't even know what you're talking about. This one you be at the meeting and you just listening over, like, oh, okay, that's what
Like,
Sarah's doing.
yes,
Like,
you know
I'm
everything.
like, you're doing amazing in my eyes now. Hey, you chilling,
But I know
chilling.
that was long-winded, but since this is our first live, I want to make sure everything is flushed out and things you pick up on here will move you to the next step. And then, of course, we're going to
Mhm.
reiterate this every single time for the people who are coming new. So just get used to the flow. We're going to throw up on the table and shift to the mess together.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, give
Thank
thanks
you.
and praise. If anything, I'm gonna text you after this and just lock in with you.
Okay.
All right. Give
Bye.
thanks and praise, everybody.
Dun, dun, dun.